don't want you to go changing, 'cause girl, you're just so comfortable.
Welcome back, Overwatch fans, to another amazing night.
We have a fantastic match tonight, no question about it.
Oh my god, yes!
With the barrage! Make sure they can't even follow up afterward.
And Wash has found 2 in this fight thus far. Make that 3, make that 4 right now here. Dynamic team gets a 4-man tire!
Those who find the picks will save the fights, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
Hungry gets 3! Wins the primal rage!
Experience tranquility.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Discord tier knockout round of the playoffs matchup between the number 1 seeded Chicago Deepdish and the number 2 seeded Doodles. I am your analyst tonight, BethCon2. Joining us are THZ on production and Dexatron on play-by-play. How are you doing tonight, Dex?
I am doing great tonight. Beth, how are you?
I am doing just great. I'm really looking forward to watching some good Overwatch tonight. Like I mentioned, Chicago Deepdish and Doodles, the number 1 and the number 2 seeds respectively, here in the elimination bracket after losing their matches last week. It's win or go home at this point, as the winner of this match will face off against the Galactic Gibbons in the first round of the, the next stage of the playoffs, whereas the loser is out of the playoffs from here on out. So really just playing for all the jelly beans on this one.
Yeah, like you said, essentially a do or die game here right now. You did talk about the winner of this one will go on to play Galactic Gibbons, who did beat Reminiscence 3-1 in their game that happened a little bit earlier, I believe. Another final that we already know of right now is SEAL Team Spuds and Redacted. Redacted beat SEAL Team Spuds 3-1 in that one as well. Joey Esports and MI7 will also be playing tonight as well, so we'll try to keep you updated on that score as the series goes along with that one.
Yeah, and this is another interesting game for both of these teams for a different reason, and that's because they met up earlier this season. They both played each other in the first round of the second stage of the playoffs. During that one, Chicago Deepdish did take it 3-1, so I imagine that Doodles is probably looking for a little bit of revenge here for that as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of great storylines in this one night. Other than the fact that it's do or die, essentially, for these teams. Like you said, Doodles looking for a little bit of revenge here. Chicago Deepdish trying to prove that they're that number 1 seed, not getting knocked out before that championship round really starts out here is probably their goal. But Doodles, on the other hand, like you said, and like I kind of already said, this is a revenge game for them, trying to prove that they can knock off a team that's already knocked them out once here in the playoffs and in the season before this.
Yeah, for sure. And both of these teams were the number 1, like I said earlier, number 1 and number 2 seeds. So I'm imagining we're going to get some really high quality Overwatch here. I'm expecting a lot of good play out of both sides. Are there any players or any positions in particular you're going to be looking at mostly tonight, Dex?
I mean, with it being Overwatch 2, you always have to be looking at that tank position now. Only one tank now in the game, so it puts a lot of more emphasis on that tank playing very, very good if you want your team to succeed. If your tank has a little bit of an off game, your team's going to suffer because of it.
Yeah, for sure. But can't discount the other roles either. I feel like flex support is also becoming a really, really important position, and main support not too far behind. You got to really rely on them both for healing, damage, utility, basically everything from the support players. So that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on as well for this game. Doodles. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, well, we talked about every other role. Let's just talk about DPS. They also have to be good as well. If you want to have a good team, your DPS kind of need to be the ones getting up there and getting a lot of the kills. Yeah, your tanks can be doing a lot of damage. Those DPS don't need to be confirming those kills.
Yeah, and both of these teams have a lot of really familiar names on their rosters as well. Chicago Deepdish has kind of an amalgamation of players they brought over from UGC, where they were the beginner tier championships, as well as some names more commonly known in the community, such as, I believe, Null and Iconic are on that team, a couple of players who have been around and proved their worth in other teams. Doodles are the season championship Harmony tier team from last season. Already putting on a really strong showing coming up a tier here. So it'll be interesting for me to see whether they stick with. They were notorious in Harmony for playing things that you wouldn't expect. So I'm kind of hoping that that's what we see tonight too. I mean, Winston, Kiriko, Lucio is fun to watch, but it's also kind of fun to see things throw a curveball.
Yeah, I mean, last night in the Transcendence tier, we saw a lot of Hog come out and Sigma. We did see Winston come out. However, that's a little bit of a higher tier than what the Discord tier is right now. So we might see those little bit comfort picks with, like you said, the Lucio, Kiriko, and Winston more here. But I would honestly love to see, you know, a Hog come out. Even on an Orisa, we saw that work a little bit last night for one of the teams in that Transcendence tier game. It's just, though, I feel like at this level, it's just comfortability with every player picking the hero that they're most comfortable with rather than trying to go out on a limb and make a little bit of a drastic pick here to just try to throw the other team off.
And honestly, I think that's a smart way of doing it too. I mean, I feel like you see a lot of teams who are like, this is meta, this is what Owl's running, it's the best thing to run, like that's what we're going to run. Even if their players maybe aren't as practiced on those roles or aren't as comfortable on those roles. So I do agree that comfort picks are probably the way to go here. That said, again, people have been scrimming things too, and if people are scrimming up against people who are playing the Overwatch League meta, whatever that may be at the time, sometimes even just throwing in one extra character they may not have seen in a while can throw them off. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a random character come out here. I'm just trying to think who that would be. We saw Torb come out a little bit in that Transcendence tier game last night. However, didn't really get a lot of value out of it here, so I don't expect to see a Torb come out here. But we have been told what our first map is. Beth, you want to tell them what we're going to be going to first?
Sure thing, Dex. So we're going to Oasis first. Really a fun map choice. I feel like there's a bunch of different comps that can work on these points. Tend to be a little bit more brawl-centric, or at least that one indoor map is a very, very heavy brawl map. So I'm kind of wondering whether that's what they're going to lean to, but honestly, each of these points has something that's so different that works well on it.
Yeah, like you said, the one brawl heavy map of University, I believe it is the indoor map, is one that I would like to see come out first, because I feel like a brawl map or a brawl point to come out first kind of is a nice warm up for both these teams to kind of feel the game out a little bit here, see what's going to be working for them and what's not going to be working. But if we go to City Center, or I believe it's Gardens first, then we're going to have a little bit of play come into effect there, where teams can run a little bit different comps before they really truly run into a brawl centric map.
Yeah, definitely. And that, like you said, having University first is kind of nice if it's brawl-centric. I feel like brawl is generally a comfort pick for a lot of these teams, and it's a good way to get your footing under you when it's, like we mentioned, it's do or die time. It's the feature match. It's potentially your last chance to make it further in the playoffs. So having a map to kind of get the pre-game jitters out a little bit would be nice, but if we don't end up going there, we may see one team kind of pull out some strats that'll cause them to shine a little bit more. Or, I mean, I'm not entirely certain what we're going to see from these teams at this point.
Yeah, but if we go to a map or a point like City Center first, and that high ground right around the point is so valuable to start off, it's always going to be a fight for that high ground. If one team can get up there before the other one, they already have something of an advantage. But I've kind of seen where getting on that high ground doesn't necessarily work, especially at the level that I'm at right now, which is, I'm just going to say bad. It's always a kind of a bait out sort of thing. See who makes the first mistake here. And honestly, that's going to be what kind of opens up this map, in my opinion. Just who makes the first mistake of someone just overstepping or overreaching on their pokes and just getting killed off by themselves, essentially.
And that's one of the things with Overwatch 2, right? Because we went from 6 players down to 5 players, a single pick has so much impact. It can just turn a fight. It can turn a fight so quickly. It's 20% of your team gone. So anybody who overextends or is badly positioned on some of those maps where it could be a little bit easier to extend or be badly positioned will get punished for it. And some of these points can be pretty hard to recap once they're taken the first time.
Yeah, I mean, with it, like you said, with it dropping down a hero to be a 5v5 game now, it is really hard to retake these points, because that one team can either just hold down and bunker down on that point, or they can try to push up a little bit, and yeah, they might lose a player, but they might be able to kind of force the other team back a little bit, even down a man, to wait a little bit and try to get their teammate back into the fight before really a point retake or a point take even happens.
Definitely. And I think like with Overwatch 2, even more so than in Overwatch 1, pacing is such an important thing. Like you said, if you're down, you want to make sure the pace is in your favor, either to wait for your player or to force the enemy team into overextending, making a mistake, something like that. I don't know. I've been enjoying Overwatch 2. I feel like the increased pace has been really nice. So, but it looks like we are heading off to Oasis here. Not quite yet able to see what the teams are going to be running or which particular point they're on. But it'll be interesting to see what both of these teams are showing.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what they come out with here, because again, it really all comes down to what map we see first. Will we see City Center, will we see University, or where we see, I believe it's called Gardens, first. It looks like, though, we will be heading to, I believe this is Gardens here first. So this is one of the maps that I actually think has a lot of different playstyles that you could come out with. You could come out with, you know, a pharmacy combo here, or it just kind of looks like both teams are going with something around the same, but they are each a little bit making some different picks.
Yeah, and with the Orisa pick on the Doodles side, it looks like they're going to be maybe wanting to play a little bit more tanky, a little bit more brawly, whereas Deepdish is going in with the Roadhog. They're looking for picks. They're going to be playing aggressively, so it'll be interesting to see how both of these strategies play into each other.
Yeah, it looks like Chicago Deepdish wants to immediately get to point, not wanting to take a team fight before or at that little area, just all the points. Seems like Doodles wants to do the exact same thing, fight on the high ground, but a huge hook from Iconic immediately gets rid of Magsol. A great pickoff starting off here for the Deepdish squad. Now they're just looking for the next one. They're already down 1 DPS is Doodles, and now they have their sights set on I believe that was K there, but we see Young, they're able to take care of Dr. Temper, so kind of evens things out for a moment. No Reavers for both sides, but Doodles will get the Reaver back here. However, Deepdish does take points first, but Twist falls there instead. Doodles, even not getting the point first, is continuing to pick up pick after pick, but again, Iconic, the only one so far that find kills here for Deepdish.
Yeah, Deepdish getting that point amount ticking up, but it does look like they may end up losing this fight here with only about 10, 15, 20% built up as Doodles get the picks they need to secure the point.
Yeah, Guitar takes care of Dr. Tepper there, and after 22%, Doodles finally takes the point for the first time. Good amount of ult charge built up on their side compared to Deepdish. Really, Iconic and Scythe and Doctora are really the only ones that have their ultimates close to being ready. However, Young and Guitar are really, really close. As in this team fight, they can pop them up with Magsol again, getting hooked in by Iconic. Iconic has an envelope, but now here comes the overclock from Young. They're looking for, and he has not finding anyone yet, except they get hooked in and Sight is able to take him out. This might be the go button for the Twist finds Halvar, so no Lucio left now for Doodles. No supports, no tank left for Doodles, and that'll be a nice point flip here by Deepdish.
Yeah, Iconic just seems to have the Doodles DPS's number. Able to get the opening pick onto Magsol in the first fight and in the second fight. Didn't exactly do what Chicago Deepdish wanted them to do in the first fight, but working off that pick, but this fight they were able to take him out. Coming into this fight, Guitar does have that Orisa ult up, which could be super helpful, especially if if they do decide to combine it with the Kiriko ult. Deepdish with a Kiriko ult of their own, and it looks like that's what they're opening with.
Yeah, but Guitar pops their ultimate right there, finds one. Iconic, though, finds 2, make it 3 on the whole hog. They're looking for more, but we are on Dr. Tepper right now, who's going after Young. Iconic finds 4 of the 5. Dr. Tepper takes out the 5th member of Doodles, and it's a nice team kill by Chicago Deepdish.
Yeah, that was wonderful play by Chicago Deepdish. They did use 2 ults to Doodles 1. Doodles still has that really highly impactful Kiriko ult up, but Iconic is just looking so good on this Roadhog, and Doodles just hasn't been able to answer yet.
Yeah, you're right. They really have not had an answer. And look at this. You talk about them. Iconic finds match out here early. That's going to force Doodles to play back a little bit as they wait for that Kiriko, because the Kiriko has that ult ready to go.
Yeah, Doodles not able to push in, having to give more and more time ticking up. We're past the 80% mark now for Chicago Deepdish, and they do have a few ults of their own in the pocket to test these.
And here we go. We see the overclock coming from Twisted, finds Match, who just pops their Kiriko ult to keep their team alive in this team fight, trying to do their best. However, High Noon now coming out from Dr. Tepper, trying to find anyone, but no one's around the point for Doodles. And no one from Doodles gets back to the point, and Deepdish will take the first point here on Oasis.
It's a tough loss if you're a Doodles fan. They were looking like they were swinging that point pretty well. A couple of poor positioning choices, not quite touching the point there at the end, but really got to hand it to Deepdish there. They really played very well. Iconic getting the picks that they needed and being very well supported by their team. It'll be interesting to see, though, whether that works as well on this point. That, like you mentioned earlier, this point has that high ground contest. and things like that. Roadhog versus Orisa, maybe not so much of a different when it comes to grabbing high ground and contesting up there. But it'll be interesting to see what these teams decide to do as we move in.
It looks like we're getting a pause here right now, and honestly, I would kind of expect to see Guitar get off of the Orisa here going on to this point. Just something else to kind of just pick a different hero here, just to see how it affects Deepdish here, because it didn't seem like the Orisa was necessarily doing a lot that map or the first point there to really disrupt Deepdish a lot.
That said, it's kind of hard to do anything as Orisa if you're having some early picks, early staggers. Orisa really thrives well when she can establish a presence and really just support her team as they kind of work around her. Not able to do that when Roadhog is just able to hook somebody and eliminate them basically within the first seconds of any fight. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens. Another thing I noticed was that I believe Deepdish was running a Cassidy to Doodles Reaper, which is another kind of interesting matchup. Again, Cassidy more mid-range, Reaper more kind of up close and brawly. So, I mean, Doodles, from all the looks at things, are looking to run a more brawly comp, but they've been having trouble with their engages for that.
Yeah, and so far we're not even going to the one pure brawl centric map or point so far on Oasis, so it's not necessarily going into their playstyle right now, but looks like we are back in the game now. No changes coming out from the side of Doodles, which I'm actually kind of surprised by.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is what they practice, maybe this is what they're comfortable on, and maybe they have a plan for taking out the Roadhog on this one, but looks like they are looking to contest that high ground here first off.
Yeah, and it seems like Deepdish just lets them have it. They're going to try to hold on to that low ground there. The hook does come out from Iconic, and now look at this. Deepdish actually kind of baits Doodles off that high ground here, but Doodles doing a good job kind of splitting up the team a little bit right now as Twist is away from the point. Guitar does find Iconic out, but Tepper finds Guitar right back, and now it's a battle of the DPS there as Tepper takes care of Young. Now they're looking for more. Halvar eventually gets taken out there by Dakora, and again, it's just Deepdish now trying to clean up this team fight. Juju comes out there from match, but it doesn't matter in the end as Deepdish will again take the point first.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play by Deepdish. Tepper showing why he's the DPS nomination for All-Stars for Chicago Deepdish, and Dakora really doing a lot of good cleaning up there too. Doodles are keeping with the same comp, except for it looks like they did switch the Cassidy out or in instead of the Reaper here.
Yeah, that might be a good play for them right now. They're kind of, it's almost a mirror match. Actually is a mirror match now. It's Iconic actually coming back on the Orisa for this point. An interesting thing considering their Hog was so good on that first point, but looks like they kind of want to do the Orisa duel here as we hop on here to Guitar, who's just trying to get rid of Iconic right now, but the support is there for them. Tepper takes out Guitar, already the tank down. Iconic now getting that grenade there from Maxwell doesn't necessarily do a lot of damage, but Tepper able to take care of Young, and Deepdish is already cleaning up this fight and starting to force Doodles back here.
Yeah, and Deepdish has, what now, 4 ults to Doodles having maybe 3? Oh, that's a late pick, too. That'll give Deepdish even more time ticking up on this point.
Yeah, at this point, Doodles has to regroup here, has to find an early pick in the next engagement here. They do have some ultimates in their favor, but like you said, Deepdish already on 4-5, actually held the entire team. Here comes the Kitsune Rush from Dakora. It's gonna boost their team up a lot here. Twist, here comes the High Noon from Tepper. They're in that Kitsune Rush. They're looking for any heads. They are able to find Match. They get the stick there on the Halvar, but Young able to find Tepper. That's a nice pick for Doodles as they need to get something going the way here. And Young going again, finds another one with the overclock there, and they eventually fall there to Twist. The Terror Surge comes out from Iconic, not able to find anyone there, but the rest of their team just picking up kill after kill, and Doodles only really down this Lucio right now is in final fight territory.
Yeah, Chae Young doing everything they could to put their team on their back with that one. They definitely got a couple of picks, but unfortunately Doodles just not able to turn it around. They're switching over to the Soldier Tracer now from the Cassidy Sojourn, which is kind of an interesting pick, probably just for stall here, as Halvar does get last touch.
Halvar gets last touch, but they do die for it. The Kitsune Rush now coming out from Match. Guitar already chunked down, already out of this fight. And look at the kill feed. It's lighting up Deepdish Blue right now, and the map will also light up Deepdish Blue as Chicago wins it.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic play by Chicago. They were playing very coordinated Overwatch. They were getting the picks and the rotations that they needed. Gotta hand it to Iconic here, getting play of the game. Very, very clean Roadhog play on that first match. Just seemed to set the Doodles on their back foot and really just put on a clinic on how to play Roadhog into that comp.
Yeah, and honestly, Iconic was very to mention his name again, Iconic, since the start of that map. Finding that early hook there really gave him a lot of momentum. They were able to cap point first, only able to get about 22% though before we did see Doodles retake it, but just getting that early pick off from a nice hook really started to get the ball rolling in favor of Deepdish there.
Definitely. And I can't say enough about Dr. Tepper there on the second too. Doing really good work on the Cassidy. I had never even thought of the Kitsune Rush Cassidy ult combination. Probably why I am a hard stuck like gold player.
Same.
But that was such a good play and such good coordination by them to help kind of keep the tempo up and keep those ults coming, allowing them to secure map 1.
Yeah, and Deepdish looked very dominant in that second map. It was 100% to 0 there. And Doodles really just, again, did not have an answer for anything that Deepdish really did there. And, you know, we talked about it before about, you know, what role probably is most important. And, you know, I don't want to say Guitar did necessarily bad in that first map, but it just seemed like he was a little bit behind what Iconic was.
Yeah, I don't think that the Doodles were playing bad by any stretch of the imagination. I think that they have a few things that they need to kind of work out here as we come into the next map. They do get next map choice, which should help to hopefully give them a comfort pick and give them their advantage here. They did have some really good play on their team as well. There was that, why can't I remember the name of the Sojourn who had that really good ult that almost turned the fight for them right there at the end of second point. But they did a fantastic job with that. They've got the pieces that they need. They just need to be able to put them together in order to make to take next map and this fight close.
I believe it might have been Magsol there
That sounds right. Yes.
who was playing a soldier in there.
That sounds right. I just completely blanked. So
Yeah, but like you said, they now have map pick. We do know what map it is. We will be going to Midtown again here, or Midtown right now for the hybrid map. What do you expect to see come out from these two teams here?
I wouldn't be surprised if Doodles came out on the Orisa again, and I wouldn't be surprised if Deepdish came out on the Roadhog again. Those were obviously picks that were, or the Roadhog was obviously picked that was working for Deepdish, and it looked like Doodles were pretty comfortable on the Orisa. But that said, it would be interesting to me if they decide to switch things up. I feel like Midtown is one of those maps that people are starting to get more familiar with and figure out what's good to run on it. And I have seen some sort of like pokier, divier comps being run on that first point at least. So I think if you're Doodles, your main thing is to just give your DPS space. They've proven that they're able to do things and able to get the picks that they need when they need them. They just need to have the breathing room to be able to. So want to make sure that the engages stay clean, that they can protect their supports, and just like let the pressure shift against Chicago Deep.
Yeah, and as we go into Midtown here, we have been told there are 3 subs coming in for Doodles here. Quackle, Tissue, and Kimchi are coming in. The only 2 players that are going to be staying in for Doodles are Chae Young and Matcha here.
Yeah, and I believe Matcha was on tank, but Quackle is actually the DPS nomination for Doodles for Darks this season. So it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do coming in. I'm not super familiar with their play, but it does look like they're starting out on the Soldier 76 here. And Tissue is on the Roadhog, so it looks like Doodles are going to try to give sort of a similar look to what Deepdish was doing, but potentially with a Soldier Sojourn as opposed to Deepdish's Cassidy Sojourn.
Yeah, and honestly, Kimchi Slap coming out here with the Zenyatta is an interesting pick in my opinion, but Zenyatta does have a little bit more play here on the offensive side because they can kind of sit back and take pop shots at everyone, but at the same time, they want to try to get at least be close enough to where they can save their teammates a little bit, but maybe they're just kind of teasing us right now with the pick, but as the gates open, it looks like they're going to stick with it.
Yeah, Zen can be very helpful for getting extra damage, really good if you've got good target focus and can look at those discorded targets, maybe a little bit less healing, and they might be missing out on that Lucio speed boost as well.
Yeah, now you can see they're already coming right down Main Street right here. They're not going to go through the subway car, which is probably a smart thing to do, but we do start to see some of their members go up there while Tissue and Chae Young here are on this low ground. It looks like the rest of their team has joined them. They're on the low ground. Iconic on that high ground there, just waiting to probably hook someone, not wanting to hook Tissue though.
Ooh, but they take out Tissue anyways as they advance on the rest of the people who without Lucio's speed boost just can't get away.
Yeah, and look at that. You got that pick there on the Tissue. You immediately saw Iconic just jump down onto even ground with everyone, and the rest of Doodles dies there for a team kill. A great start here for Deepdish.
Definitely. Deepdish looking really good there. Doodles is wanting to play a little bit pokier. They don't have the speed with the Lucio to be able to engage, so they're really just looking to play off of high damage, high pick output. But Deepdish, with that pick on Tissue early, was just able to turn the fight in their favor and absolutely clean up on the Doodles. Still just under 3 minutes to go here. Lots of time for Doodles to make a turnaround.
And Tissue able to hook in sight. I think they were going for Iconic, but they caught the Lucio instead. A huge pick for Doodles here. That should be their go button, but they're kind of just hanging out in the subway car. Tissue, again, going for Iconic. Does not land the hook that time, but it seems like their team is finally coming out of that subway car now and looking to engage in a fight. Actually, Kimchi caught off from the rest of their team as the Kasumi Rush comes out from Deepdish. Dakora putting that out for their team. Iconic trying to take care of Tissue or anyone else. We see Twist go up there after Kimchi. Not necessarily finding them yet, but Iconic's down. And Twist, but 2 straight kills going right back in favor of Deepdish. Keep this fight even at the moment. Dr. Tepper on that high ground, able to find Matcha there. And now they're going for Chaeyoung there as it's a 4v1 in that side room as Tepper's grenade will take care of Chaeyoung.
Yeah, that was a very good play by Chaeyoung and Kimchi slap there. They were able to get a couple of picks, but Deepdish just looking so coordinated here. They're able to apply pressure where they need. Twist put that Sojourn E ability up in the upper train, cutting off the Zenyatta, which just allowed Deepdish to do basically whatever they wanted without as much pressure.
Yeah, and Tissue must have used Whole Hog in that last engagement. Only 12% on that ult. And again, misses on a hook there, but the Kasumi Rush comes out from Doodles and the Transcendence from Kimchi for Doodles right now. This has to be a team fight. They win since they already put in so much, and as well, we see the rail or the overclock come out from Chaeyoung there, but Chaeyoung finds Twist over. Iconic pops their Whole Hog. They already get 1 with it. They're looking for 2, not able to get it. Quackle, Tissue already out of this fight. Matches out of this one as well. Kimchi added to that list, and Chaeyoung finishes it up there for Doodles as Deepdish again wins a team fight dominantly.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Doodles. They used a couple of really high-value ultimates in that fight, and were not able to get any picks. Chaeyoung did end up getting a pick onto I believe, Twist or Tepper. I don't remember exactly who, but again, Doodles just not able to really capitalize onto it there. They do have the visor up, which without any shields in the game could be pretty advantageous for them as they come up here through the train car.
And the train car actually saves Tissue there only for a moment, though, before Iconic takes him out. No hog left for Doodles now. Quackle, kind of broken off from the rest of their team, is looking to pop that visor. Dakora, though, does have that Katsuni Rush ready to go. Dr. Tepper is able to take care of Matcha there. And Doodles running out of time here. Quackle, though, is able to find Tepper, but it's a 3v1 in the alleyway. That is not a scenario in which anyone wants to be a part of.
Such a tough situation. Quackle looking for that wide flank to try to get some picks off, but unfortunately the pressure on the front line was too much.
The Doomfist coming out here from Tissue. We see the overclock come out from Chaeyoung. Doodles has to win this team fight. They need to get anything on this point. Chaeyoung able to find Dakor there. The visor now coming out from Quackle. High noon from Tepper finds 1. Visor from Quackle does find 1 themselves, and Chaeyoung finds sight. Somehow Doodles is doing enough here to win this fight at the moment. They got a tick. That's really all they want to get out of this team fight. However, they will get more as Iconic falls, and now Doodles should be able to cap this first point.
Fantastic play by Quackle, Chaeyoung, and Kimchi slap there. Just absolutely able to play coordinate, play together, use their ults advantageously, and get this first point cap. Still a lot of game left to play here, but Doodles is looking a lot more coordinated than they have been earlier, and I'm excited to see what they do here as we approach point B.
Yeah, ring those fire alarms there as the cart comes out of the firehouse. Now we see Tissue come back now on the Orisa. They've played 4 tanks in their last 4 lives at this moment, but this is probably a tank they're going to stick on here for a little bit. High ground being taken over by Deepdish right now. Chaeyoung trying to do enough to force him off of it, but we do see Iconic already on the low ground, but they're backing up back to that high ground as this is a good choke point for Deepdish to try to hold this cart for a while.
Definitely, this high ground can be pretty hard to contest, but it looks like Doodles are trying to do so by wrapping around to the side here.
But Iconic with that hog, able to take care of Matcha here early. Twist has 100% on that railgun, looking for a head. I don't think they're able to find one just yet. Quackle, though, finds Twist, but immediately gets traded back out there by Dr. Tepper. Nice trade coming out from Deepdish, trying to keep this fight in their favor. Iconic now is stuck between a rock and a hard place there, but able to win that fight with a lot of help from their friends there. And now no one's pushing that card. They could have been pushing it for a little bit here. However, it's at that choke point. There is one pushing it now. Kimchi able to find Tepper. Twist trying to just force back some more members of Doodles here, but Doodles trying to sneakily push this card. However, it looks like Deepdish is meeting them at that low ground here.
Yeah, the Deepdish meeting him. Oh, never mind. Iconic able to get Masha.
Here comes the Kasuni Rush. Quackle finds Twist to start out. Kasuni Rush coming out from both sides. It's a dueling rush right now on the cart. Here comes the surge from Tissue. It's huge. It finds two. They find a third one right after it. Tepper, though, does find Quackle. However, it is really only a 1v3 at the moment. Doodles doing a great job here. However, Deepdish will get back out to contest this cart. Doodles should have more people on this cart right now. It's gonna almost get there. 75% of the, well, 0.75 away from that point is Doodles, but a nice kill here from Chaeyoung. Pops their overclock. Now just trying to throw hands to take care of Dakor there. Quackle able to find them with their Dry Rockets and the Visor. Tissue takes care of Iconic, and they get the second point here. A minute 40 left on the time back for them now to push the cart as far as they can.
Doodles playing so clean that second point. Really got to hand it there to Tissue. That ultimate that took out both of the supports for Chicago Deepdish, including Scythe, right before they used Beat, was absolutely massive there and allowed them to cap that point. Minute and a half here to push it to point C. Neither team really has any ults on board except for Dr. Pepper with his High Noon. Have seen him use that pretty well in the past, so it'll be interesting to see whether he gets any fix with it here.
And we did see him there for a second. It looked like they were trying to be sneaky with it, try to pop a High Noon in a spot that Doodles does not expect. Twist, though, 100% on that railgun, does not find a headshot there, so does not take care of Kimchi Slap. But now it's kind of a scrappy fight on team car around the card as Quackle finds Scythe. Tissue, though, falls here as Iconic now swaps over to the Orisa in the late game here. Chaeyoung, though, able to find the dueling soldier there of Twist. Quackle finds Tepper here, and a nice team fight coming out of here from Doodles as now they're pushing this card at a steady pace and forcing a little bit of a fallback here from Deepdish.
Quackle is honestly doing so much work on that Soldier 76. Just honestly putting in so much pressure, so much damage, really getting the picks where they need it. Definitely making sense why they nominated them for the All-Star position.
Casino Rush coming out from both sides. High Noon coming out from Dr. Tepper. They're looking for anyone, not able to find anyone though, but Twist comes right back and finds Quackle. That's a great pickoff here early for Deepdish in this team fight, which essentially could be final team fight at this moment. Now the overclock comes out from Chaeyoung. They're looking for any head, not able to find anyone just yet. Twist, though, is the one who's finding kills. Matcha already out of this team fight. They were so close to a beat. Tissue out of this team fight. Doodles is running out of bodies, running out of men, and running out of time. A nice hold here by Deepdish.
Twist and Tepper heard us talking too many good things about Chaeyoung and Quackle, and we're like, hey, we want to be talked about too, so they decided to pop off that fight. That said, Doodles, honestly, they just really pulled it together there. They were able to play so well, push it through point B with ease, got a pretty good amount into point C when it looked like point A was just going to be game over right there. So honestly, they're doing so well, and I'm so excited to see what they end up doing here on defense.
Yeah, like you said, point A for them almost looked like they were going to get full held there by Deepdish, but a very late team fight win for them. They really flipped this entire map around for them, at least at the moment. If they can hold Chicago Deepdish here, that last team fight where they're able to completely cap point A will be the difference in this one as we head into halftime.
Definitely. Really got to shout it out to both teams, though. They're both playing so well. This has been a really fun match so far to watch. I really want to also give a shout out to Dakora and Kimchi Slap on Deepdish and Doodles respectively, both of the Kirikos for both of those teams. They're putting in massive amounts of healing and damage and really just facilitating their team to do well. So definitely going to be keeping an eye on them as we move into the defensive point.
Yeah, it looks like Tepper wants to stick on this Cassidy here, going on to their own offensive push right now. No really big swaps here for Doodles. Tissue going to stick on the Orisa here. No Hog coming out, actually, which is a surprise for me.
Yeah, maybe they thought that, okay, Doodles is going to be expecting the Hog now. We're going to give him a little bit of a different look, but Iconic has shown that he's able to play their Orisa as well, so it'll be interesting to see how he and Tissue match up as they come into attack.
Yeah, it looks like they're wanting to take this high ground. They're actually wanting to run straight to point right now. Deepdish wants to prove that they have something in this fight here, but Quackle takes care of Scythe early. That's already one support down. The Kariku can only do so much. Iconic's out of this one as well. This might just be a team wipe here for Deepdish. Tepper, though, able to find one person before it's all said and done. However, they eventually fall themselves. And a good team fight there by Doodles to start everything off here.
Definitely. They held that really well. They took in Deepdish's aggression pretty well. A lot of teams may have been caught on the back foot by that. Deepdish may have rushed in a little bit there. They didn't quite get their positioning set up, but it does look like they're coming in here to take another really aggressive fight.
Yeah, it looks like they want to do the exact same thing again. Iconic already really low on that health. They're taken out here early. Not what you want to see. Quackle here going after Tepper, able to find them there. And look at this, we're already seeing a little bit of a fallback here from Deepdish. They want to play this map fast, and so far it is not working out for them.
Yeah, when you're going into the DPS duo of Quackle and Chaeyoung, it's really important that you don't just kind of stand in the open and point. Applying map pressure is more important than applying point pressure at this point. So Iconic gets picked off really early, just causing Deepdish to get completely wiped. Looks like they are taking things a little bit more slowly this time as they head into attacking the point with about 2.5 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, looks like they want to go to this back alley right now. Looks like Doodles expects that they're going to do that. Already kind of playing around this fire truck right now. Ooh, a lot of Doodles were really low there, but they're able to get healed back up. Already 2 minutes left on the clock for Deepdish on this first point. And while they have touches, they haven't necessarily done a lot around this point right now. Tepper is going after Quackle. They're on the high ground. Quackle does have their ultimate, but Scythe takes care of them. The Kasuni Rush comes out from Deepdish on point, and already with one down for Doodles. Looks like they have their go button right now, ready to go. They're trying to take care of Tissue. The High Noon able to take care of them. Scythe takes care of Matcha there, and Deepdish starting to take control of this point A, and a team kill coming out here for them. It won't be counted for it in game, but this will be the first point capped for them.
Yeah, really got to shout out Scythe on that point. Taking out Quackle on the high ground there just really took so much pressure off of the rest of their team, really allowing them to open that up and continue to get the picks and get the cap there that they needed. Doodles coming up on a couple of big ults here. Kitsune Rush and Visor is honestly fairly terrifying to play into, so it'll be interesting to see how Doodles decides to play this.
Terror Surge comes out from Tissue here early, able to find Twist, and they find Iconic right after. They want to hold Deepdish at this choke point right now. Scythe trying to run away and keep their life. Matcha going back there to try to just force them back into their spawn. However, now we're starting to see a little bit of a fallback there from Doodles, and it looks like Chaeyoung's actually in the worst spot, but looks like they'll be able to slide away with actually, no, they're not able to slide away with their life. Tepper able to take him out. That's a huge advantage here for Deepdish. Now we might see a little bit of a fallback here from Doodles. The Kasuni Rush comes out from Doodles. Kimchi able to find Twist. Quackle visoring from this high ground position back here, looking for anyone, but instead is taken out by Tepper themselves. Now the Terror Surge comes out from Iconic, does not find anyone on this point as Tissue goes gold here, trying to just hold this card on this point as long as they can. Chaeyoung back in the fight, throwing that disrupting shot on the card here. It's still being contested right now. Finally, Deep is starting to push again a little bit. Scythe takes care of Tissue, and that might force a little bit of a fallback here from Doodles, but that fallback might just be back to their own spawn here as Tepper takes care of Chaeyoung there, and now Deep starts to push his card.
Yeah, and that was a really big ult fight from both teams. Lots of ults being used on either side. Deepdish coming up on Tepper ult and on Kiriko ult, which we have seen them combo last map. Doodles still has Chaeyoung's Sojourn ult up as well, though.
Yeah, other than I believe one instance on Oasis, the overclocks necessarily haven't been coming in or doing a lot. Now the Kasuni Rush coming out from Doc Aura here. It's gonna force Doodles to play around this little guard here, but just around the point. And now they're trying to contest it right now. But Chaeyoung able to find one headshot on their overclock. They're going for a second one. Matcha, though, able to find Iconic. Quackle finds Tepper here, and this is looking to be a nice team fight win here by Chicago Deepdish as you see Twist and Dakora fall back to regroup with their team.
Yeah, that was an absolutely fantastic hold by the Doodles. They were able to match Chicago's aggression and get the picks like that they needed to get. Deepdish didn't really use any ults that fight. Tepper's still holding on to that overclock, but Doodles back up on that Orisa ult from Tissue. Tissue has shown that they've been able to do a lot with those ults in the past. So honestly, a really good space holding and point clearing ultimate.
Yeah, Tissue does, like you said, has that Terror Surge ready to go. They have been able to find a lot of kills with it in the past, like you said. I don't know why I'm repeating what you said. Right now, it looks... Yeah, you do say a lot of good stuff. Right now, High Noon comes out from Tepper, able to find Quackle. Here comes the Terror Surge, but the Suzu comes out from Deepdish to keep them alive. Tepper goes in, finds the second one. Twist takes care of Tissue, and the second point here should be capped after Scythe takes care of Matcha there. 2.5 minutes to push the cart. About 75 meters is all Doodles, or is all Deepdish needs here to go up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, both of these teams though have a lot of really big ults coming up. It'll be interesting to see what they're able to do with them. Which team is going to be able to use them to more of an advantage. We've seen Twist get some pretty big ticks with the Sojourn ult, but Quackle's coming up on that visor again, which can cause a lot of damage and a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but Quackle's visors have necessarily always kind of been one to just kind of distract the team, but now with the Terror Surge coming out here from Iconic, it's huge! It finds both supports for Doodles. Tissue, Quackle out, Che Young out, get 3 members on that card. It's a team kill, and that might just do it here for Midtown. We're gonna see some swaps come out here from Doodles, but it's gonna be really hard for them to get back to this point.
This ends
Tissue
now.
might be able to get the touch around here from the back, and it looks like they are able to as visor gets popped.
Visor gets popped, beat gets popped as well. All 5 members of Doodles get hit with that beat. Now, I believe we saw Quackle here pop their visor, not able to find anyone with the visor, but they do find Twist right after it. They're trying to come back in this engagement. Quackle finds 2, but now we see Iconic trying to just bully people away from the cart. However, it's the 3v1 there with that Orisa, and they eventually get taken out there by Che Young, and Doodles comes back and able to stop Deepdish from ending the map, at least in that moment.
That was absolutely a massive hold by the Doodles. 1 minute left to go. The cart is now pushing backwards, causing Deepdish to have even further to go. Decora did not end up using Kitsune Rush during that. Tepper's coming back up on another overclock. So they do have a couple of ults in the bank, but Che Young is coming back onto the Sojourn ult, and we have seen them do absolute work on that in the past.
Yeah, but this Kitsune Rush from Decora is going to be huge from there. Here it comes out early in to start this engagement off. Suzu already comes out, but they'll be able to get that back really fast. Che Young, though, pops the overclock, finds one. High Noon, though, denies Che Young there. Tissue finds Dr. Tepper right after that. That Kitsune Rush is gone now. So is Iconic, and so is Scythe on Doctora. And that is a great team fight there from Doodles. 25 seconds left to go now for Deepdish, and we are in final fight territory, and Doodles has some ultimates to play with.
Including the mines, which can be absolutely devastating for holding space, especially when you're coming into overtime here. We see Dr. Tepper's going over onto a Sojourn, and I'm expecting to try to go back and get some point touch and apply some more pressure on that Wrecking Ball. And Iconic over on the Doomfist here for stall.
Yeah, like you said, it's all stall at this point here. Dr. Tepper coming back out on the Sombra there. It needs, like you said, just gonna probably be for touch here. Now the mines come out from Tissue. They're all around point, but Tissue incredibly low, not able to get healed up there. Iconic goes out as well, no tanks left. Now here comes the visor from Quackle, but Quackle is taken out by Twist there. This could keep Deepdish in this fight. Decora takes care of Che Young. Matcha out, Scythe out, and no one there for Doodles. Deepdish will come back and win this map to put them up 2-0 in the series.
Holy smokes, that was a hell of a last fight. Really got to shout out Dr. Tepper there. They were able to go behind and hack the Wrecking Ball, taking down half of their health and putting them kind of in a disadvantage going into that fight, allowing Deepdish to get that pick off into the Wrecking Ball, which otherwise can have such massive stall potential, honestly. Both of these teams just played so excellently. Chicago Deepdish just barely winning by the skin of their teeth, but honestly, Doodles are still in this. It's first to 3 in the playoffs. They still have a chance to bring it back and advance on in the bracket. Whichever team loses here tonight, like we said before, is out of the playoffs. So both of the teams are certainly putting everything on the line and playing as hard as they can.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out if it's a best of 5 or best of 7 right now.
Oh, I thought it was. Sorry, I think it's first to 3. I will have to double check on it.
I think everyone in the production booth is double checking that right now. But yeah,
Thank you.
Deep Dish is coming back. Deep Dish coming back there towards the end there. It seemed like Doodles had found something towards the end there. I really thought they were going to hold them, but really losing their tank there, of losing that ball very early in that engagement, hurt them a lot, because that ball really provided a lot of just space for them and knocked a lot of members of Deep Dish away from the cart there and kind of broke them up. However, they fall early in that fight. While Iconic does fall early on the Doomfist, it just was the play of the DPS there for Deep Dish that really sealed the deal there on Midtown.
Definitely. And honestly, the DPS on both sides of the court are actually playing so well tonight. Seen pop up off moments from both of them. They're all putting in, or all 4 of them, they're all 4 putting in such good consistent damage. It's honestly just been a delight to watch. We do have confirmation that it is first to 3 in this mode, so it's do or die here for the Doodles. Dex, what do you think that they need to do to come back here?
I mean, they've played good these first 2 maps here. They just seem to be able to find, I don't know really what to what I need to be telling them going into this one. They need to be able to try to hold Deepdish earlier in the maps here, because they were doing great when their backs were against the wall, but they need to try to make sure that they don't get to that point. We saw a lot of great plays coming out from them there throughout the entirety of Midtown, but it just seemed like Deepdish was always able to come back and have ultimates ready to cancel them out there. The only time that wasn't the case was that final fight. Deepdish made a whole bunch of changes there, no ultimates ready for them, and Doodles had, I believe, 2 ultimates ready to go, and they just never used them because they died before they had the chance to.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you 100%, but like you said, like it's tough to say what to tell them to do just because they are playing so well, and Chicago Deepdish are just slightly kind of getting that edge on them here. We do have a halftime coming up. 10 minutes is standard here. It is 1st to 3. So when we come back, it'll be Chicago Deepdish taking on Doodles.
We don't spend time hesitating, and I wouldn't say we're crazy in love. I would just say we're crazy enough. 'Cause girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. I hope that you just feel it all too. 'Cause girl, you're comfortable, let's go. Feel so good just when you roll through. And I just think it's so crazy what you do to me. Girl, you're the baddest thing, you know that. And I really need you to show it. So turn around, let me get you on the Kodak. Girl, you're just so comfortable. 'Cause girl, you're just so. We ain't gotta slow it down. Jeans on when we hit the town. We don't really care who's around. But baby, I'm with you if you gon' be down. 'Cause girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. Girl, you're just so comfortable. I hope that you just feel it all too. You're just so comfortable. 'Cause girl, you're comfortable. It just feels so good just when you roll through. And I just think it's so crazy what you do to me. Girl, you're the baddest thing, you know that. It's true. And I really need you to show it. So turn around, let me catch you
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to tonight's Discord tier featured match, Chicago Deepdish and Doodle. This is the after halftime one. This is the elimination match. Chicago Deepdish up 2-0 over Doodles at this point. Doodles has to reverse sweep because if they lose one more map, they are officially eliminated from the playoff. No updates yet on the other match that is going on, but it sounds like we are going to Junkertown here.
Yeah, this is a huge map for Doodles here. Like you said, do or die, win or go home for them right now. And they're picking Junkertown because they feel at this point this is their most comfortable map on Escort to beat Deepdish at. But like me and you said before going to that halftime break, we don't really know what Doodles need to do better here. Like, they have been doing good so far throughout this entire series. However, Deepdish has just been able to one-up them at every turn.
And maybe this is their decision to go to Junkertown then. Like, we've seen that their DPS are able to do a lot of really good work. They're able to get a lot of really good picks. And maybe they're just like, okay, we need a completely different map type. Junkertown is much more open than the other maps. Teams are more apt to be a Sigma comp or even sometimes a Wrecking Ball comp on this map. And just allow their DPS, those long sight, really pop off. So if Doodles is really wanting to lean in on their DPS players and let them put in as much work as possible, this is honestly a pretty good choice for them.
Yeah, like I said, they picked this map for a reason, and I'm thinking it might be because of those long sightlines here on that first point. We've already seen some members of Doodles play some of those hit scan characters that take advantage of these long sights here. So maybe we see an Ashe, a Widow come out for them, maybe even a Hanzo. However, a Deepdish, on the other hand, just need to do one thing. They just need to play this map, probably get a little bit into the final push here, and I feel like that's a comfortable enough spot for them. The goal is to push it as far as they can, make it all the way to the end. However, Deepdish, especially in these close quarters areas fights, have been have seemed to be the team that's coming out on top most of the times. And that second point is very, very close, kind of a brawly point.
Yeah, and the third point too, for sure. I feel like it goes from a very open map to a very closed. I'm thinking predominantly about the first. You get the first point, snowballing is a little bit easier, but yeah, Deepdish is looking really good on that close-up brawl. We've seen the Cassidy absolutely pop off. Dr. Tepper absolutely on a clinic on how to play that character in closed spaces. So if Doodles does manage to push it past point A and uses that kind of like strategy that we were talking about, they're still going to have to face off against Dr. Tepper, who's been putting in absolute work on Cassidy.
Yeah, but as we go into Junkertown here, Beth, do you want to give them the update on that MI7 match?
Absolutely, and it looks like in the match between MI7 and Joey Esports, MI7 has officially won 3-0 and will advance to the next round.
A straight sweep for them, a good start, a really good start to get into that championship bracket there. I believe, I forget who they're going to be taking on in that championship bracket here. But as we load into Junkertown here, it looks like Deepdish will be defending first. And look at this. We're seeing each side at least teasing us right now as Doodles, but each side right now looking like we're going to be seeing a Soldier and a Widow come out for the DPS line.
Which I am so excited about. I absolutely love watching Widow duels. It's my favorite thing about every Junkertown map. Doodles is switching things up, though. I believe Tissue was on tank last time, and Chaeyoung was their other DPS. So Tissue moving over to the Widowmaker now, while Chaeyoung is rolling out on the Roadhog.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting for Doodles. Maybe this is something they do a lot here. Maybe they just need to try to swap things up here, see if it works. But as the gates open, Doodles going to try to get that high ground. However, it looks like Tissue is a little bit away from their team, probably waiting to get a nice hook shot up into the air.
Probably, and we see Tepper is over on the left side there by Stables looking for an extra shot as well as Tissue pushes up into position.
And Maxwell able to find Twist out here early. A great start for Doodles, taking care of the Soldier. And for Deepdish, it does kind of force them back a little bit here as we are on board with Dr. Tepper here, who is looking to find Tissue, just trying to peek over on that opposite side. But now they're going to be looking right down that main choke point. They're able to find Matcha. Mag already out of the equation as well. So is Kimchi. And Deepdish, after losing Twist early in the engagement, able to come back with 3 straight kills.
Yeah, and Chicago Deepdish has been doing a really good job of converting fights that look like they're going to be lost. They're taking those fights where they're a man down and able to just round. That was a fantastic opening pick by Magsoul, but unfortunately, Doodles just weren't really able to capitalize on it. That said, Magsoul and Chaeyoung are both about 2/3 of the way to their ultimate, one a little under, one a little over, whereas Deepdish is coming up on the window from Decora.
Yeah, Dakar coming out with the BAP is a really interesting pick since we haven't really seen BAP this entire series so far, and Nick coming out on the Zenyatta is another interesting one. I imagine they fully expected to see the Roadhog come out from Doodles, and just getting that Discord on that Hog is huge as Dakora able to take care of Tissue. No Widowmaker left, and Dakora finds a second one. Nick finds Chaeyoung. The Dakora eventually falls, but the damage has already been done for Doodles right now.
Supports were getting upset we weren't talking about them. Nick and Decora just both absolutely popped off there, getting 3 total picks for Deepdish and sending Doodles back to spawn. That said, Magsoul just takes out Dr. Pepper, which is going to make Deepdish be a man down in the next fight.
Yeah, Tepper falls there right now, and Doodle's getting back to this cart right now. Gonna try to push it. They know Iconic is there. Hook comes out, does not land. Chaeyoung really low. Tissue looking for anyone here. The whole hog comes out from Chaeyoung, takes care of Iconic. Nick pops Transcendency here, trying to save Iconic, just not able to get over to them fast enough right now. And a Widow duel might be breaking out here, but Magsoul finds Nick. Magsoul finds Twist. Chaeyoung throws a fist in Doctora's face there and able to get the kill. And now Doodles looking to cap this first point here as we see Tepper fall back. Doodles has capped the first point, and Magsoul still going in, keeps finding heads with those railgun shots.
Magsoul started that fight with a late pick, or an early pick onto Dr. Tepper, and then ended that fight with a late pick onto Dr. Tepper. Just absolutely looking so good on that Sojourn right now.
and Tissue starts it off here early, finding Dakora, and we see Iconic there not able to hit that rebreather as they were purpled there. A nice purple coming out there from Kimchi. Doodles does have 3 ultimates ready to go. They do pop 1. Tissue looking for Nick there, but Maxwell continues just to be a force to be reckoned with here. 2 more kills going their way, and now Doodles starting to go and make it 3 straight kills going Maxwell's way. Chaeyoung takes that away though from Maxwell there, but damage again already been done there for Doodles, as they should be able to completely push this card up now to the 2nd point with no good contest coming out from Deepdish after they capped the 1st point.
Dish just put such on their put so much on their back foot there. Maxwell absolutely popping off on this Sojourn, just putting in absolute numbers, not allowing Deepdish to even get set up to take a defensive fight.
Maxwell knows that the season is on the line here. They're popping off to try to keep their team's season's hopes alive at the moment. Ultimates now being used. Iconic pops out. Whole Hawk finds Chaeyoung out. That might be the only thing they find here at the moment, though. Twist, the only one that has their ultimate ready to go. Dakora is close to it, but Maxwell and Tepper, Iconic and Tepper take out Maxwell and Tissue. 2 good kills here for Deepdish after a little bit of a sluggish 2nd point there.
Yeah, Deepdish getting a chance to stop the steamroll at this point, kind of recatch their breath. They are coming up on a couple of ultimates, including Window and Sojourn ult here. But Doodles, they have 4 of their own coming into this fight, and with Tissue going on the Reaper, they're going to be much better in close quarters.
Whole Hog comes out from Chaeyoung, though. They get taken out by Dakora. Twist takes care of Matcha, and that forces Doodles here to fall back and regroup. Deepdish doing a great job of just eating up this time bank.
Definitely. Deepdish didn't use any ults there. Doodles, it looks like, may have just used Chaeyoung's ult, and Tissue swapping off of the Reaper onto the Hanzo. Looks like the full brawly DPS isn't exactly what they're looking for here. Deepdish still with a couple of ults up as we move into the next fight.
Maxwell gets rid of that immortality field. The Transcendence comes out from Nick to keep Iconic alive in this team fight. Dakora finds Tissue. Dakora proving that Baptiste is just a DPS disguised as a support. Twist pops that Overclock finds one. Nick comes right back and finds Kimchi Slap with a slap of their own, as Dakora again filling up that kill feed with their own name.
Yeah, Dakora, honestly, I see why Deepdish put them on the Baptiste. They are looking so good on this character, putting out good amounts of healing, but also we've seen them all over the kill feed. Doodles coming up here with the Sojourn ult and the Kiriko ult coming up here, which could be a deadly duo for them.
Yeah, Chaeyoung almost gets taken out there. Here comes the Kiriko ult and the Overclock. It finds one, but Twist takes care of Macho, so already 1 support down for each side at this moment, but it has done a good enough job to force Deepdish away, and they can now add on to it. Maxwell, Chaeyoung, and Tissue take care of 3 members of Deepdish there as they continue to push this card. They're trying to get rid of Iconic now. Iconic finally falls there, and now they do have a lot of free time here to push this card. However, Doodles wants to keep the aggression up here a little bit as they try to spawn camp Deepdish. Actually, no, they all fall back and regroup on cart.
Yeah, a little bit of a late pick onto Iconic, meaning that they're probably not going to come out until about last touch. But you do see Tepper going over on the Cassidy, looking like a comfort pick and a really strong pick for them. So we'll see what happens with a 1.5 minutes left.
Purple comes out onto Iconic. They're out of the picture. Kimchi slaps out of the picture as well. Tissue takes care of 2. Dakora comes right back and takes care of Tissue. It's up to the supports of Deepdish right now, but they're not going to be able to do enough, as even though they pick up 2 kills there, it is Masha on the cart, able to fully complete Junkertown here with time in that time bank.
Doodles looked so good in that attack there. Must have used the halftime to just really regroup and kind of figure out exactly what that small edge was that wasn't getting them to be able to beat Dish. They were playing so close earlier. They looked good on the open points. They looked good on the closed in points. They absolutely, steamrolled second. Deepdish has their work cut out for them. A 1.5 minute time bank for full capping Junkertown is not insurmountable, but they are definitely going to have to maybe make some calibrations and changes if they want to be able to push it through these Doodles that are just looking so strong right now.
Yeah, but again, Doodles got really caught up on this first push here. And honestly, in my opinion, Deepdish just needs to have a much better first push than what Doodles had. However, on the other hand, I could say right back, Doodles needs to have a much better 2nd point defense than what Deepdish had. Because Deepdish really never had a 2nd point defense. It was 1 team fight and done for them there.
It looks like Deepdish is rolling out on some a little bit different, a Sigma double sniper comp. Doodles are sticking with what they stuck with basically last time, although I don't think Kimchi was on the Ana, so that's a really, or no, she was, because they were hitting a lot of really good purples, now I remember. But Deepdish given a little bit of a different look here as we move on to their attack.
Tepper gonna come out here with the Widowmaker. Not a big shock from me. The long sightlines here really do play into it, and Tepper was really good on this Widow on the first point on their defensive side right now. Iconic though coming out with the Sigma is a nice pick, but now we see Deepdish or Tepper try to get that flying grapple shot, not able to find where they're now. They're going after the Kariko of Matcha. Matcha in a very dangerous spot now. They use the Suzu to get themselves out of there. It would not have mattered there if they were already behind the building, but just to be safe.
And with that, Chaeyoung takes out Iconic. Really tough early pick if you're a Deepdish fan, but given Deepdish some time to recruit here, Dr. Pepper takes out Tissue, but Tissue then answers right back.
You have to love the arrows sometimes. They take just a slight little bit longer to get there than the bullet from the Widowmaker's sniper does. And I love to see those trades come out right now. But Deepdish doing a good job pushing this card through. Chaeyoung gonna hit the rebreather here, get healed up. The boulder comes in just a little bit late as we see Matcha try to get back over to Chaeyoung to keep him alive in this one. Hook coming out there lands Iconic, but Iconic's health pool able to keep them alive in this one as Deepdish has pushed the card successfully through that choke point and now back into this little open area just before the first point.
And honestly, even though Doodles have looked like they've been really in control of the tempo here, Deepdish has been able to push this almost all of the way here, and Decora pops window picking up Tissue.
Yeah, like I said, on the defensive side, Decora is just cosplaying as a support right now. They're looking for blood, but Chaeyoung and Magsoul find 2 straight picks to kind of even things out here for Doodles. Chaeyoung trying to get rid of Iconic, just throwing hands at him, not able to do it just yet, but Tissue finds Dr. Tepper, who both have swapped off the heroes they originally picked to that Tracer Kimchi slap, able to finally take care of Iconic, and now Deepdish looks to kind of just fall back and regroup.
Yeah, they do have a couple of really big ults coming online. We've got a Sigma ult combined with a Sojourn ult that can be pretty deadly if Twist is able to hit the shots while the players are up in the air. Doodles, however, are coming up on that Kiriko ult, and that has been looking like a really good ult for them so far tonight. As well as Magsoul's Overclock, just very, very strong on that. So it'll be interesting to see how they're able to get this fight started here.
Yeah, that Kariko ult has always been the fight engager for Doodles here, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same thing at this point. But Deepdish taking a very wide kind of loop around here to get to the point. They do force out the Transcendence from Nick. Magsoul pops their Overclock here, already getting rid of that Immortality field. They're looking for heads. Now the Graviton Flux comes out. Now Twist finds one with their Overclock. Iconic finds one with their Graviton Flux. Dr. Tepper and Decora cleaning up this fight here as Deepdish takes the first point.
That was a fantastic fight, honestly, by both sides. Tissue did a great job of forcing out the Transcendence from Nick pretty early on in the fight, which I thought was going to be kind of a game over for Deepdish. But Deepdish was able to pull it back. They were able to combo that Sigma and Sojourn together so well, get the they needed, and pack and cap first point. They have 3.5 minutes coming in here to second with that window that has been pretty strong coming up for them as well.
Yeah, but look at Doodles right now. They're about to have 4 ultimates ready. They only use that Overclock from Magsoul in that last engagement. So Doodles does have some ultimates here to kind of hold this point a little bit better than what Deepdish here did on their own defensive hold here. And that's what I said. This second point hold is going to be very, very key for Doodles. If they can hold him here for a long time, I feel like this map is comfortably in their hands. But Deepdish right now trying to push through. Immortality field already gone from Decora. Nick finds Magsoul's out here early. Chaeyoung, though, comes right back and finds Nick. Decora popping that damage matrix up there only for themselves. Whole Hog and the Nano coming out there, but Kimchi out from that high noon from Dr. Tepper. Dr. Tepper now going after Chaeyoung here, and they're driving them into a corner, trying to fan the hammer to take care of them there. Just not yet. Now the Consumer Rush comes out. Dr. Tepper able to find Tissue there. I don't think that shot was meant for them, but it does the job just the same. And now Deepdish doing enough. Tepper is now cleaning up kill after kill here. Twist takes care of Chaeyoung. Magsoul is back in this one. Does find Nick, but 5v1 is not, or 4v1 is not a winning scenario for them. And 2.5 minutes around Deepdish here as they cap this point. They're going to have a lot more time than what Doodles did to push this card.
Yeah, like you said, that first point take was so key for Deepdish, able to cap that with a little bit more time than Doodles did on there. Both of the teams basically used all of their ults in that fight, so we've got a little bit sort of an ult reset, although there's almost every single player on Deepdish is coming up on theirs. Doodle's going over to a Mercy now, which is kind of an interesting pick, and they do have that Overclock almost on board, which has been, again, Magsoul has been absolutely popping off on the Sojourn.
Yeah, you already see Deepdish try to take control of this high ground, but they hook Iconic off of it. But they're going to use that grab there to make sure they eat up a lot of the damage and give themselves some shields right now. But Tissue finds Twist. Maxwell finds Doc Aura. That's been the one person they need to get rid of first in all these engagements, as Doc Aura's been doing a lot of damage as well as healing. Now they're starting to force them back a little bit. Nick out of the equation. They're trying to go after Iconic. The disrupting shot in there. Iconic pop their ultimate there. They have to be swapping in that scenario. There's no other reason they would use it.
I feel like if I used it in that situation, I would swap just because I would be like, oh yeah, I was swapping. And it looks like they are. They're going over to the Roadhog. Do have a really big ult fight coming up here, though, with both teams coming up on basically all of their ults. And we have seen in these big ult fights that Deepdish tends to have a little bit of the edge when it comes to those.
Yeah, and like you said, this is going to be a huge fight for him. But again, Nick popping that Transcendence early. I just don't understand why he's been doing that. But Nick finds Chaeyoung just after coming out of that Transcendence. And Twist finds Maxwell. We are on Tissue right here. They do have that Dragon ready to go. Kimchi Slap out of the equation now as Tissue try and do their best. Matcha out of the equation as well. So is Tissue. And now we're going to see Deepdish push this card up a decent amount of the way. But Doodles will be able to come back.
And Doodles honestly only used 2 ults there. They've still got 3 of their own coming up. We saw Dakora take the flank angle as though they were just a pure DPS and really distract them there at the end, which I thought was a lot of fun. Minute and 51 seconds left in the game here, though, as Deepdish are coming in for the final.
Tepper has that high noon ready to go. They're on the high ground. You know they're going to try to use it from up here. The Kastuni Rush comes out from Matcha, and look at that, huge! It finds 2. Chaeyoung comes right back. Kimchi able to get the rest back on the Maxwell Dragon from Tissue finds Iconic. Tepper going after Tissue is able to take care of them right now, but the fight is around the card. Actually, did Doodles stray too far away from the card? Are they going to C9 it themselves? And they do!
Oh no, that's heartbreaking for Doodles. They were honestly winning that fight at that point. It was kind of even, but they had spawn advantage and just unfortunately didn't touch there at the end. That said, Deepdish technically capped with less time than Doodles did. It's anybody's game at this point. If you're Doodles, you're putting it all on the line here. You've got 1 chance left to really stay in the playoffs, and that's by winning the map. We have seen a valiant effort from both teams. This has been a really fun match. I'm excited to see what they do as we move into extra round.
Yeah, so Deepdish will be attacking here first. Their first point push last time was a lot better than Doodles. So Doodles has to try to figure something out here. Only a minute 23 though for them. So if Doodles can hold them here for a couple team fights, that's all they need. About 3 or 4 team fights, in my opinion. If you can try to drag some of the early ones out a little bit, is all Doodles needs here. And look at them right now. They're still swapping heroes right now, not necessarily knowing what to do. Looks like Matcha's going to come out on the Mercy, and Kimchi's going to go over to that Ana.
Honestly, I don't think the Mercy is a bad pick. You've got a Sojourn who's been absolutely popping off, a Hanzo who's been putting in good work. Both could be really good pocket target. And then you also have that res ability. They get an early kind of fluke pick, and you're able to get them back in the fight and still have any.
Yeah, Deepdish though. Tepper's going to come back out on that Tracer. They ended the map with that last time, and it worked out very good for them. Twist coming out on the Widowmaker here, looking for a headshot here. Just going to try to find an early pick for them. Not able to do it just yet. Looks like Doodles is going to kind of let Deepdish have a little bit of space here to start off this point. Maxwell going after the Tracer there of Tepper. Tepper now trying to bring that fight to them. They have to be careful. That railgun was charged up a lot. They do get hit by it, but it's not in the head, so they stay alive. Disrupting shot coming out on to the cart there from Maxwell. Doodles just continues to let Deepdish push this cart right now. Still, each team looking to find or waiting for the other team to make the first mistake here, or just waiting for anyone to find a pick.
Yeah, and the Tracer's honestly a good choice. It's splitting the attention of the Doodles, allowing Deepdish's front line to really establish themselves.
And there we go. Twist finds that first pick. Can that start the snowball for them a little bit? Look how far they've pushed this cart. Twist finds Matcha. That's a huge one. Maxwell out of the equation as well. Kimchi out from this fight. Chaeyoung trying to do their best here, but they can only last so long. And Deepdish caps the first point right now. And now it's on to that second point push, and you're forcing Doodles to go all the way back to that far spawn. They're gonna get a decent amount of distance here.
Yeah, if they're even able to touch it this, it might be kind of a close call with 2 seconds left on, or wait, never mind, backwards. Deepdish, though, I really like the fact that they used that Tracer that time. They were able to split the attention, they were able to get the picks they needed, and now they've got plenty of time for their overtime push.
Look at this. Deepdish is trying to take an early engagement here, but Iconic's out. Doc Aura comes right back on the Kiriko and finds Tissue. Twist finds Che Young. Maxwell comes right back to even things out right now. And there's two more kills going, or one more kill going their way. The overclock coming out here from Maxwell. It finds Nick. Overtime comes out. Dr. Temper's pulse bomb finds Tissue, but they're not able to touch that cart in time. Only about 48.5 meters is all Deepdish got on that second point. But the most important thing is they capped the first point.
Yep. If you're Doodles, you've got a ways to go, but it's still not insurmountable. If they're able to play on that point like they were playing on the second, especially the second point, they're on their attack, they're going to have no problem pushing it in. Really got to hand it to Doodles there at the end. Magsoul absolutely popped off and got the picks they needed, but also had to notice that the Mercy got a res off, which is I think why they were ending up playing there, which swung the fight in Doodles' favor, allowing them to stop Deepdish and push. If you're Deepdish right now, though, you're feeling pretty comfortable. You had a really good first point hold on the first point, so really good chance here that they hold it. But either way, it's going to be a great match. Doodles, this is your last chance. You gotta push it all the way if you want to stay in the playoffs.
Yeah, you had a little bit of a larger time bank, but I only believe it was like 7 seconds, so that's not much of a larger time bank here. You essentially have to do exactly what Deepdish did. You cannot lose a team fight on this first point. And honestly, like you mentioned it before, Deepdish had a really good first point hold their first time on defense. Doodles really struggled there to get anything going. They do not have, time is not on their side here though, and it's going to be interesting to see how Doodles starts this off.
They are keeping with the Mercy Ana combo that they used last time. It seems like that might either be a comfort pick, or it could be just that they think the pocketing and the extra healing and the purples are just really playing in their advantage.
Tissue trying to get that hook shot there, immediately gonna swap off to another character right here. Goes to the Cassidy. Now, as they do start to push the card here, however, again, it's going to be each team playing it very safe, not wanting to make the first mistake or get picked off here first. But Maxwell finds a headshot. That is what they exactly needed here. They want to go in on this now. They're trying to go after a second one. That disrupting shot is huge. It forces them back a little bit. Iconic's in an awkward position. Immortality Field already out here for Deepdish. Doodles is doing a great job of pushing this cart so far.
Yeah, but Nick gets a pick up onto Tissue, and Nick and Decora were able to keep Iconic alive, which may save Deepdish's chances here.
But Che Young just stands in a disrupting shot from Twist. That's not how you want it to go down. Maxwell out of this one right now. Doodles, at this point, they just need to give up this team fight and regroup because it is final fight for them for their season.
They do have 30 seconds to regroup, though. Kimchi Slap coming up so close onto that nano boost. Looks like the rest of the team is swapping over to stall, and Dr. Pepper has a pulse bomb available.
Yeah, Dr. Temper does have that ready to go. Doc Aura is close to another damage measure there. As we've seen, they have been deadly using that damage measures only for themselves. Now a little bit of a tracer duel going on here. Damage measure comes out. Doc Aura finds Matcha out here early. Huge pick for Deepdish, and they find Maxwell. Doc Aura going in, but Tissue finds Dr. Temper right there. Overtime has started right now. It's going to be just a consistent thing of touching the card. They're trying to get rid of Nick there, but Nick able to get that Transcendence just in time. Doc Aura's out of the equation though, and now they're just going to try to stay on this card. The Transcendence gone. Che Young takes care of Nick. Here comes the flux from Iconic. It only caught one member of it. Iconic does take care of Match though. Twist out of the equation as well. Now they're just trying to get rid of Iconic in this fight. Iconic can keep that card contest alive for a long time. Now it's Dr. Temper, and we are starting to see some members of Deepdish come back, but a huge railgun shot there from Doc Aura or huge rail shot there from Mag will get rid of Doc Aura, and Doodles has capped the first point. However, overtime, they cannot get off this card.
Yeah, Doc Aura did a good job that fight, getting two really great early picks, but Doodles just were able to turn that around. Maxwell and Tissue getting some critical picks, allowing them to continue their push. They've got about 30 meters left to go as Deepdish swaps over to a Doomfist, and Sojourn is coming up on their ultimate on their side as well.
Yeah, but Doodles has a lot of ultimates ready to go on their side as well. Che Young could use this minefield here around the card to try to just prevent Chicago Deepdish from coming in. Tissue does have that pulse bomb. They're going to try to make it huge. Maxwell gets rid of the Immortality Field on that high ground, but did they C9 again? No! Deepdish will be moving on to the championship bracket because either Iconic was able to do just enough to force them off the cart, or they just all stepped away.
Oh, that is absolutely heartbreaking. Doodles were looking so good there. They were getting that push, but Gotta really hand it to Deepdish there, though. They honestly played so well. We saw great play from basically every member throughout their team throughout the night. Doodles also obviously playing super, super well, but at the end of the day, the very, very close 3-0 match goes to Deepdish, and they will advance to play Galactic Image in the next round.
Yeah, like you said, this, even though the series ends 3-0 with Deepdish moving on, this was a very, very close series. Like, you cannot look at this score line here, because if you look at it right now with a quick glance, you're just gonna think Deepdish rolled them. But no, Doodles did well on every map. It's just like we kind of said going into Junkertown. They just need to find something to get them over the hump, because Deepdish had always been able to find answers throughout this entire series. Doodles, on the other hand, was not necessarily able to find them there, and just 2 mistakes towards the end of this game. First on the defense, just kind of C9ing and allowing Deepdish to finish that with as much time as they did, and then either getting pushed off there by the tank for Deepdish of Iconic, or just C9ing again. Like, I don't know what it was, but I'm hoping it was Iconic there that just kind of forced them all off the card.
Yeah, really tough fought match. Both teams played so well here. We got to, but with all that said, Dex, who was your player of the match?
Honestly, I really have to give player of the match to either Iconic or Twist there towards the end. It just seemed like Iconic was such a good... Iconic was everywhere that first map for them. Then it was the DPS coming alive for them on Midtown. And then Iconic there towards the end was just able to do just enough on that tank play to really do a lot. But again, I want to give a huge credit to the DPS line of Deepdish, especially there towards the end of Twist and Dr. Tepper.
Definitely. And since you picked a couple of the picks I was going to go, I'm going to go for Magsoul on Doodles. Honestly, they played their heart out. They played so well, got a lot of really good picks, won fights that would have otherwise been. Unfortunately, wasn't enough to win them the match, but definitely a very strong player. Joy to win.
Yeah, Magsoul was by far probably the most outstanding player for me from Doodles. But I mean, like, they made a lot of swaps there that last map, and going into it, we saw, I believe, 2 role swaps come out for them, and I was kind of thinking, like, is this the right move? And they kind of proved me wrong. Like, that was the right move for them there in that last map. Those 2 swapping roles, it worked out for them very well, and it almost got them that map when they desperately needed to try to start that reverse sweep. But just at the end, they just weren't able to do it.
Very, very close. Lots of fun to watch. But like I said, Deepdish does advance. They will play Galactic Gibbons in the next round. Doodles has been. Lots of Overwatch left in this season. However, we can see, oh, great, they've got a graphic up. So Chicago Deepdish, Doodles on this side of the bracket, SEAL Team Spuds Redacted on the other side. And Deepdish will be going to the... With all that said, like I said, lots of Overwatch left to play. We've really just got the championship brackets left here. So it's do or die time for every team, that both in this tier and in the Harmony and... Dex, any closing thoughts before we sign off?
This was an incredible series. I'm so sad to see Doodles go out the way they did there, and it looks like the Discord or the production booth is kind of telling us that it was another C9 coming out for them there. But Doodles put up a hell of a fight, but Deepdish, like we kind of were mentioning this entire series, was always able to find that one up to get them over Doodles. And almost every time it seemed like Doodles had finally figured something out or figured out how to stop Deepdish. So Deepdish, an amazing performance by them tonight. Doodles, again, an amazing performance, but Deepdish is able to one up them there at the end.
But that said, thank you all for joining us tonight. I have been BethCon2, the analyst. Dexatron has been on play-by-play. Our producer has been THZ, with observers of Hippie, Mountain Mango Mike, and So thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon.